National Coach Zeke Jones, conclusion of the freestyle competition here at the World Championships. Give me your thoughts about the U.S. performance. Obviously, we didn't come home with any medals, which is not something that's happened for a long time.
No, it's terrible. Just not enough fight in the team today, and we got to go home and make some changes.
What do you think was a contributing factor throughout all 3 days of the freestyle event that didn't take us through to those medal rounds?
Well, we're trying to put our finger on it now. You know, I talked to Coach Brands and Coach Smith, and probably the #1 thing was we just weren't tough enough in the right moments, and I just think that all comes back to training. We got to make practice and training more difficult, and we've got to get technically more. Of course, we know we've got to get technically better.
Let's talk about today's wrestlers. We started with Brent Metcalf, wrestled a former world silver medalist. A close match, but he wasn't able to pull it out.
Well, I think he had actually a really great game plan that he executed in that first 40 seconds. That guy's got a great leg attack. Brent took it away, which was good. But then at that moment, he needed to translate it into points, into his offense, and he wasn't able to make that switch over. And you know, that was just the start of that bout, and then of course got into a tough scramble. And you know, whether that kid scored points or not, you can't be on your side where the ref thinks you might have got tilted, and just wasn't enough.
Okay, and then got Travis Paulson at 74. He had one match today as well. Shapiev from Kazakhstan. What was the difference in that match, and what do you think was the key in Paulson not being able to come out there?
Well, you know, he beat him in Baku, you know, several weeks ago. Travis won, and you know, a lot of people probably know Travis's knee was hurt, and in the end of the day, Travis just only had one leg out there, and it showed. We stayed positive. We tried to, you know, get him to believe that he was 100%, but at the end of the day, you know, you have surgery on your knee 5 weeks ago. You know, you're not 100%, and he wasn't today.
So he's capable of beating that guy and others, but he wasn't at his 100% abilities.
Yeah, he just, you know, he wasn't. After Baku, he was not on the mat for a couple weeks. Of course, you know, letting the holes from the surgery scar over, and you know, he really actually made fast progress in the short amount of time he had, and that's why we put him in. Otherwise, we wouldn't have put him in the lineup. We would have made a change. But I'd say Travis probably got, you know, back to about 75, 80%. No one's 100% in this tournament. Nobody is. You know, everybody's got dings and bruises and things. So, you know, the thing is just having him, you know, having him good enough that, you know, he could compete. We thought he was there, but at the end of the day, he wasn't.
Les Sigman at 120 won his first match pretty quickly, but then ran into a world bronze medalist that he's beaten before, but wasn't able to beat today.
Yeah, same thing. You know, that's part of the dismal performance is that, you know, Les, you know, beat this guy Dave Schultz, and in the end of the day, I think that's, you know, Coach Smith said, you know, he just didn't bloody himself enough. You know, when it got into the fight, and the Greeks jamming underhooks and pummeling hard, Les wasn't able to meet it, and he just got to be able to respond in that tough moment when it becomes a hand fight out there, and wasn't able to get it done.
You say going home you're going to make some changes and look at things. What kind of areas will be discussed? Is it going to be individual, or is it going to be across the board things that you're going to work with the coaching staff and the athletes in the program?
Everything's on the table. Everything's on the table. I don't want to make any decisions right in the moment. We'll get home, take a few days, take a look at it. But, you know, America, and I want to be careful because we had good results last year with 7 new timers, you know, getting, having a couple medals. This year, our last 3 tournaments, we've had great results. 13 of our 19 guys medaled in the last 3 tournaments over the last 8 weeks. So the body of work has been good. It just didn't create the outcome at the most important tournament that we wanted it to. So because of that, we need to go back and look at it and say, okay, we need to make the right changes, because in the end of the day, those changes will be the changes that we need to make so our men know they will be ready to win a world title next year. And so those changes can be many things: technical, strategical, system-wide, training, competition, everything's on the table. Coaching, we've got to make sure we have the right people in place and the right things in place so our men come back here, they're going to win.
We have talent in this program. We can compete.
You have talent for sure. We've beat a lot of the guys out there that medaled in the past year and a half, and so I know they can. It just didn't show up today. But remember, we're behind in some spots. We're behind, each guy's a little different, whether it's technically or strategically, tactically, or being tough. We have every resource available. We have World Olympic champions who are coaches now, who are brilliant experts. We have support staff. We have all the things we need to be successful. Why doesn't it translate into medals? That's what we got to take a look at. That's why everything has to be on the table. And we can't say, hey, well, we're making this change. That's not how we did it in the past. Well, right now, things in the past might not be working today. So we need to make a look at that. But again, I don't want to say it's all one-sided. We are getting better. We are getting good results. We just didn't get it this weekend.
Thank you, Zeke.